What's up? It's Coach Vassar. Thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, thank you for tuning in. Glad you found me. If you have any feedback, let me know. If you find value in these videos, information is in the description to support me. Anyways, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about Friday, February 7th. This will also repeat Sunday, February 23rd. It's going to be endurance on the tread, strength on the rower, power on the weight floor. Break down the key concepts, talk about the 2G, talk about the 3G. You'll need low benches for today, so just make sure that that is set up. When we're looking at the workout for the treads, today we're going to work on finishing strong even when we are tired. It's 4 rounds of a 3-minute push and a 1-minute all out and a 90-second walk recovery. You could either stay consistent or increase your all out each round. On the rower, you're going to do a construct to a clean to front squat, and it's always a 15-stroke row at an all-out effort. How far can you go? For the floor, it's all about the constructs where we build exercises throughout the block. So, as mentioned, talking about the treadmills, we're going to see a 23-minute tread block. Break it down into 4 rounds of that push all-out walk recovery pattern, and then after 4 rounds, there is a bonus 1-minute all-out, and then they are done for the 23 minutes. They're going to start with a 3-minute push, 1-minute all out, 90-second walk recovery. Rinse and repeat 4 times. Intention here is to maintain the push no matter what, and then maintain or increase the all out. So over time, they're going to widen the gap between those two efforts. When you really break it down, it's 4 minutes of work, 90 seconds of a maximum recovery. So when it's time for that 4 minutes of work, we want that push to be pretty aggressive, really feel like they empty out the gas tank in the all out, and then take the full 90 seconds to walk. That would be in a perfect world. Granted, you'll probably have members who want to get back to base as soon as they see that heart rate start trending down, or they might not even do a true all out. So something they always talk about in these template rollout webinars is that, even though it says 90-second walk recovery, it is okay for members to get back to base when they're ready, but hopefully you educate them enough to realize the benefit of taking that full recovery. Analogy that I've been using quite a bit is the idea of a glass of water. So you just spent 4 minutes emptying out that glass of water. You only get 90 seconds to fill it back up. So we want to maximize that time to fill it up as much as we can so we can have the same amount of output the next round. Maybe that connects with some of your members, so they take that to heart and maybe take that full 90 seconds to walk. The other thing too is, the heart is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs recovery before you tax it again. So you just did 4 minutes of tough work on the heart, allow it to recover, bring that heart rate from like that high orange, maybe even red, down to like a low green, maybe blue, or even like a low blue. And that's good. For the 3-minute push, they recommend power walkers 4% or greater, joggers, runners, probably around 1 over their base. If they want to go more aggressive, they could. Bikes and striders, keep it simple, right about 3 gears over base. Just make sure RPM stay elevated, 60 to 100, and then when it's time for that all out, crank up the gear without losing RPM, get out of the saddle, maximum wattage for the 60 seconds. Power walkers, incline goes up, maybe increase walk speed. Joggers, runners, it's a full-on sprint for that minute, and then they walk it down for that 90-second walk recovery. 4 rounds. And then they have a bonus 1-minute all out by itself. Really can't get any more simple than this. So really, when it comes to you as a coach, painting that picture of what we're trying to see, what they should feel like, how can they perform, get those check-ins as well. So after every round, who was able to add, who was able to maintain, yada, 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 to keep them engaged. All right, now when we look at the rower weight floor, the first block is a rower block. They're gonna have a circuit with dumbbells, and then they'll do a 15-stroke all-out row. They're gonna see a total of 12 reps. It's 4 per part. They have a dumbbell clean, dumbbell front squat, and then clean to front squat. So with the dumbbell clean, obviously it's a little bit of a hip hinge motion to pop it up to the shoulders, and then for the front squat, obviously a squat mechanic, and then that clean to front squat, it is a little bit of both where they hinge back, pop, and then drop the hips down to get into that squat position and then stand up. This is one where it might be beneficial to allow members to be at the weight floor, just so that way they're not having to take, heavier dumbbells to the rowers and then bring them back. Have them do it at the weight floor, head to the rower, knock out their 15 stroke all out row, and then come back. Now, when it comes to the row itself, it doesn't really mention specific stroke rates in the 2G, but in the 3G, they do mention 24 to 26 for their push rows that they're doing later on. So obviously it's a strength-based row, but it's a strength-based all out. So if you want to have them be smart about the stroke rate, you could do 24 to 26 to keep the coaching consistent between the 2G and the 3G. You could take it to a regular 20 to 24 range for your 2G classes, but give them the why behind it. So the all-out effort is from the leg drive to get the watts up rather than the momentum of getting them to move back and forth very quickly. But yeah, that's it. They're looking to get about 120, 180 meters or more, knowing the sequence here, and they'll probably need to rest after that row. They'll probably get about 3 rounds in. Now, especially when it comes to the weight choice for that construct, the idea is to do it like a back-to-back circuit. So they are doing essentially 12 reps. So more of a moderate or even a lightweight dumbbell. And this is going to be why it's beneficial for them to start at the weight floor, because they do it the first round, they go to the rower, they come back, they could pick a different weight rather than drag the weights across the room if they realize they had way too heavy or way too light after that first round. Okay. After the round 2 of the treadmills, that's when you're going to set up the next floor block, and we're going to see a construct with the core anchor, and it's going to be a dumbbell snatch, which will then lead into an overhead reverse lunge, which will then lead into a dumbbell snatch to the overhead reverse lunge. And then between all of those, you're going to have a low bench straight arm sit up. And that's going to be your first round through. Then they're going to repeat that, but then they're going to do the low bench dead bug instead of the sit up. Now, the snatch to the overhead reverse lunge, this is an opportunity for members to understand, even though they could get the weight overhead, do they have the structural support to maintain that weight as they then do that reverse lunge? And this is actually a pretty tough movement to begin with. So one thing to kind of think about is for that snatch, maybe heavy. And then for the overhead reverse lunges, that might be more of a moderate weight, and then use that moderate weight for that combo exercise. If you have anyone who has any overhead limitations, what I would do is for that overhead reverse lunge, I would have them do a front rack position. And then for the combo, they could do like a clean to reverse lunge, or they could do a snatch, bring it down, do the reverse lunge. So a couple ways to kind of mix that up, especially since they have the dumbbell clean in the rower block. You don't really need to demonstrate it. You could just reference it and then get them going. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, on the daily beat, they mention, for the overhead reverse lunge, they could do a sumo squat, I guess. And then for the snatch to the reverse lunge, they recommend a squat to press. So that single arm used to be called ground to press, ground to overhead, whatever you want to call it. That's what they recommend. And then, like I said, for the first round, they have the straight arm sit up. The idea here is arms are locked out towards the ceiling. So if, the camera right now is bird's eye view, my hands are here, but as I sit up, my arms are going to go up. I sit by the ear. And then as I sit back down, arms stay towards the ceiling. So we're not looking for the arms to move behind them and then swing to come up, but rather use the abs to pull them up. And then for that low bench dead bug, you could have them flip over and they could do a bird dog if they're not able to lay on their back. But it's the same idea. It's contralateral, so left hand, right foot, right hand, left foot for the dead bug. Now, the finisher is their choice of either combo from block 1 or 2. So clean to front squat or the snatch to overhead reverse lunge. Now, if you do the snatch to overhead reverse lunge, they'll do 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other. And that's gonna be the 2G. When we look at the 3G, one long block on the treads, 3 blocks on the rower. The first and third are kind of short. The middle one is a little bit longer. And then on the weight floor, it's one long block of 2 different constructions. So when we look at the treads, it's gonna be condensed down. So it's a 2-minute push, 45 all out, and then only 1 minute to walk. And they'll have 3 rounds of that. And then the bonus where it's a 2-minute push into a 1-minute all out. Same goal as before, maintain the push, maintain/increase the all out each round. Obviously the key difference here is almost 3 minutes of work and only 1 minute of a walk recovery. So they definitely should take this walk recovery to maximize performance. For the rower, blocks 1 and 3 are very similar because they're going to be timed up with the treads. They're going to do a 2-minute push row when the treads are doing their push. As mentioned earlier, the push row is going to be 24 to 26 strokes per minute. And then in block 1, they'll do a 45-second all out when the treads hit the all out. See how far they could get in that 2-minute and 45-second section. And then in the third block, they're trying to match or beat it. It's still that same 2-minute push, but then of course the all out is now a minute. So they have an extra 15 seconds to row. So that's something that they should allow them to match/beat distance from the first block. Now in the middle, they're gonna do the med ball alternate in halo for 12 total reps, paired up with that 15-stroke all-out row from the 2G, and they'll do that for 6.5 minutes. So that's going to take place during the first walk recovery, and then the end of round 3, when the treads are doing that 1-minute walk recovery, that's when you're going to stop the rowers, and that's going to be their 6.5 minute time frame there. They should get at least 2-3 rounds in very easily, if not more. But of course, they are starting off the rower with the med ball. Now for the weight floor, it's going to be a combination of the 2 blocks. So you'll have the construct of clean front squat, clean to front squat. Then they're going to do a sit-up. Then they're going to do the snatch, overhead reverse lunge, snatch to overhead reverse lunge, and then do the sit-up. So they actually remove the dead bug from the 2G, and they're just going to go through that construct core sequence. And then they have the same finisher of either clean to front squat for a minute or the snatch to reverse lunge combo for 30 seconds per side. There you go. A lot of very challenging movements on the weight floor, but you do get plenty of time knowing that the treads have 3 minutes of a push and 2 minutes of a push in the 2G and 3G respectively. So there should be plenty of time for you to have hands-on assistance with the weight floor to really clean up form on the clean and the snatch. Other than that, get after it. You guys got this. Coach it down.